TJ Holmes and Amy Robach got fired from their jobs.
As any fan of the morning show and the newsroom can imagine, the real-life TV news industry is a cutthroat business where office politics can make or sometimes break careers. Famous news anchors have been noted to have lost their jobs over minor issues like a bad joke, while others had been involved in very shocking scandals. Either way, these TV stars have had their contract terminated over the years. But just how long is this list? Well, join us as we reveal news anchors that have been fired after certain things happened. CNN anchor fired after 17 years on the network. CNN anchor Don Lemon has hit out at the network after his firing, which came after accusations of misogyny and misbehavior. Taking his frustrations to X, formerly known as Twitter, the anchor expressed his surprise at being told by his agent he had been let go by the network. According to the report passed to Lemon by his agent, CNN said it had parted ways, with Lemon saying the network wishes him well in his future endeavors. But what could have caused CNN to part with such a top news anchor like Lemon? Well, let's find out. The termination followed on-air remarks by Lemon in which he said Republican Nikki Haley, former UN ambassador and governor of South Carolina, was not in her prime, a remark widely decried as sexist. Lemon also added that a woman could be considered to be in her prime, especially in her 20s, 30s, and maybe her 40s. In response to objections from his female co-hosts, Poppy Harlow and Caitlin Collins, Lemon urged them to Google the information he had given to test its authenticity. Surprisingly, later that same day, Lemon issued a statement saying he regretted his inartful and irrelevant comments. He also apologized to the newsroom and agreed to partake in mandatory training to address the incident. But the remarks had already sparked widespread criticism, including from actress Michelle Yeoh, who appeared to reference the comments in her Oscars acceptance speech. In a tweet following the incident, Ms. Haley appeared to address the firing, calling it a great day for women everywhere, adding #StillInMyPrime as a way to shame Lemon for his words. Additionally, Lemon's reputation was further clouded by a report from Variety earlier in April, which detailed accusations of misogynistic behavior toward his CNN colleagues. Lemon had called a producer fat to her face, Variety reported, mocked and mimicked one colleague, and allegedly sent threatening texts to another. Although a representative for Lemon denied the reports, the network felt it was time to discipline the news anchor for his misconduct. But just moments before Lemon's announcement, Fox News announced it was parting ways with primetime host Tucker Carlson. Although Carlson's exit was quite surprising, nothing had prepared both Lemon and the fans of the network for the anchor's dismissal. In fact, fans were stunned when the network opened their Tuesday morning segment with remarks on Lemon's departure. A longtime fixture of the network, Lemon was most recently a co-host of CNN's This Morning program. The show will, however, continue with Lemon's former co-hosts, Poppy Harlow and Caitlin Collins, the network said. But the network did not elaborate on the reason for his dismissal, nor make any comments regarding the anchor's claim of foul play being involved in his termination. But in a second statement issued on Monday afternoon, it called Lemon's description of events inaccurate, saying he had been given an opportunity to meet with management. Nothing was said regarding Lemon's refusal to meet, but ultimately, the issue ended with his termination from CNN. Stay tuned, because this next part is sure to keep you glued to your screens. ABC 7, New York anchor, fired for hot mic insult. An ABC 7 anchor in New York City was fired after a hot mic allegedly caught him insulting his co-host, a report has said. According to an anonymous source cited by Page 6, which broke the story, Ken Rosato was reported to have been immediately fired after he called co-anchor Shirlene Alicott a very demeaning and disgusting word. Although Rosato was off-air when the insult was made, it was picked up on an open mic, and he was immediately let go from the ABC affiliate. The news of Rosato's dismissal spread quickly, with rumors suggesting that his comment may have been inappropriate or even a racial slur, but a representative for Rosato denied these claims, stating that any suggestion of him making a racial slur was entirely false. The representative emphasized Rosato's long-standing support for equality during his more than 2 decades at WABC. ABC remained tight-lipped about the details surrounding Rosato's firing, refusing to disclose further information or comment on the matter to the press. Rosado's colleagues were reportedly individually briefed about the situation by management. Shortly after the announcement, Rosado's bio was removed from the company's website. But this is nowhere close to the end of the list. Let's explore more interesting cases of anchors' termination from their network. Fox News Media and Tucker Carlson. Another significant termination that garnered public attention was the dismissal of Tucker Carlson, the controversial former Fox News host. Carlson faced accusations of misogyny, and although different accounts exist regarding the specific reasons for his departure, the Wall Street Journal reported that inflammatory messages critical of the management were discovered, leading to his firing. In a statement from Fox News Media, obtained by The Wrap, it stated that Fox News Media and Tucker Carlson had agreed to part ways. It doesn't end there. The network proceeded to thank Carlson for his service to the network as a host, and prior to that as a contributor to the success of the network. Fox News Tonight, initially anchored by Carlson, was set to air live at 8 p.m. ET beginning Monday as an interim show helmed by rotating Fox News personalities until a new host takes over. Carlson's primetime program, Tucker Carlson Tonight, was one of Fox News' highest-rated programs since its inception in 2016. A New York Times study showed that while his show welcomed opposing perspectives in its early years, it began to lean more to the right. The study also showed how the host pushed extremist talking points through his monologues. In fact, Fox News lawyers themselves said in court back in 2020 that Carlson is not stating actual facts in his program. His dismissal comes days after the network agreed to pay Dominion Voting Systems $800 million to avert a defamation trial. Fox, however, did not disclose an official reason for terminating Carlson, and the announcement of his dismissal was made on April 24, 2023, sending shockwaves across the news network. The ABC News Network's co-workers affair. On December 5, 2022, ABC News suspended Amy Robach and TJ Holmes, who had co-anchored the GMA3 block of Good Morning America after the revelation of their off-camera relationship. According to Robach, the couple had planned to discuss their relationship with ABC News management in January 2023, but after word of their affair made headlines, they were let go. She said they were told by their bosses in December that they had become a distraction. But here's where things get very interesting. In late November 2022, Holmes and Robach said, when news broke about their relationship, they had already initiated divorce proceedings with their respective spouses. Holmes recalled how they had been outed as being in a relationship with everyone thinking they were being outed as adulterers, being outed as cheating on their spouses, which wasn't the case. While the couple had not violated any company policy, ABC News president Kim Godwin told staffers in a call that the network felt the duo's relationship had become an internal and external disruption. With that in mind, it was best to let them go in order to avoid any further issue. Holmes shared in a new podcast they started a year to the day they were dismissed that he's the happiest and healthiest that he has been in my life. He also added that he was in love with Robach, and she was in love with him, and they were planning a life together regardless of what had happened. Contrary to what the public feels concerning the affair, the couple have been seen together on numerous occasions, flaunting their relationship and proving to everyone that ABC might have just made a decision in their favor. Maybe firing them was what they actually needed to pursue happiness. Another CNN news anchor scandal. Chris Cuomo joined CNN in February 2013, making his debut as a field reporter during an episode of Piers Morgan Tonight. He then moved on to co-anchoring CNN's morning show, New Day, and was later granted his own show on the network, Cuomo Prime Time, which aired from June 4, 2018 to November 29, 2021. But things soon took a turn for the worse for the anchor when it was discovered that he had been engaging in indecent activities and abusing his position as an anchor for personal gain. But that was just the beginning. Chris Cuomo's end at CNN came after it was reported that Cuomo advised his brother, former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, about the sexual allegations made against him. Announcing the firing on Saturday, CNN said additional information had come to light. According to the statement, Chris Cuomo was suspended earlier in the week, pending further evaluation of new information that came to light about his involvement with his brother's defense. In a statement reported by the New York Times, Cuomo pointed out that he had not wanted his time at CNN to end in such a manner, but he had his reasons for doing what he did. The scandal which engulfed Andrew Cuomo spread to his younger brother, who acknowledged offering advice when the governor faced the harassment charges that he denied, but that ultimately led to his resignation. The New York State Attorney General, Letitia James, found that Andrew Cuomo sexually harassed at least 11 women. His resignation meant he avoided a likely impeachment trial. The information released by James showed how Chris Cuomo pressed sources for information on his brother's accusers, reported to the governor's staff, and was active in helping shape responses to the charges. While Cuomo insisted he never tried to influence CNN's own coverage of his brother, he told investigators about calls to other journalists to find out what information they had about some accusers. Regardless of Cuomo's stance on the matter, the network made it clear they had parted ways with him and was looking forward to a future without the news anchor on the team. Don't go anywhere. There's still more to come. Bill O'Reilly, News Network most sued anchor. Bill O'Reilly was one of the biggest names in cable news and most sued. Over the years, Fox News and O'Reilly settled 5 sexual misconduct lawsuits totaling tens of millions of dollars. In April 2017, the host announced on The O'Reilly Factor that he would be taking a vacation. The following week, Fox News announced that he would not be returning and his program was closed up. O'Reilly's departure came 9 months after Fox News founder Roger Ailes was forced out as chairman following a sexual harassment lawsuit by former host Gretchen Carlson and allegations by at least a half-dozen women, all of which he denied. One of them was Megyn Kelly, who also clashed with O'Reilly and who decided to leave Fox for NBC. After a thorough and careful review of the allegations, parent company 21st Century Fox said in a statement that the company and Bill O'Reilly had agreed that Bill O'Reilly would not be returning to the Fox News channel. After years of being sued and countersuing on his own end, O'Reilly finally bade goodbye to Fox News, and not to anyone's surprise, the scandals declined drastically, but not completely. Another Fox News anchor soon found himself on the receiving end of backlash. Let's find out who it was. Ed Henry and Fox News Channel. Ed Henry joined Fox News in 2011, where he co-hosted America's Newsroom. He was suspended in 2016 when details of his extramarital affair with a Las Vegas hostess surfaced. The pair hit it off during their encounters at the popular venue and engaged in a secret love affair at luxury hotels when the veteran newsman visited Sin City. Henry, married with 2 children and previously worked for CNN, was sidelined by Fox officials after In Touch magazine revealed his affair with Natalia Lima. But while Lima was described in reports as a glamorous Las Vegas hostess and through friends claims to have met Henry 5 years ago during an innocent Twitter exchange, Daily Mail Online can reveal that in fact she is a longtime exotic dancer and Henry was one of her clients. Henry was again suspended in late June 2020 when a co-worker accused him of sexual harassment. Henry's attorney, Catherine Foti, said in a statement that Ed Henry denied the allegations referenced in the Fox announcement and was confident that he would be vindicated after a full hearing in an appropriate forum. However, Henry's contract with Fox News was terminated a few days after following an internal investigation. Sandra Smith, Henry's Keo anchor on the weekday current affairs program, America's Newsroom, addressed the issue on air, reading from Fox News Media an internal memo issued to staffers by CEO Suzanne Scott and President Jay Wallace. Not long after, Ed Henry filed a defamation lawsuit against the network and its CEO, Suzanne Scott, alleging that he was publicly painted badly in an attempt to save Scott's reputation. The suit didn't, however, change the decision the network had made concerning him, and Henry left the media for good. Among our list of news anchors that have been let go by their network due to misconduct, will things be different moving forward, or will it stay the same in the news network? Melania Trump's inside story. America and the rest of the world have criticized the Trumps for what seems like performative Christianity predates this incident. In the past, the politician and the former model have been accused of only declaring their love for God.
I have great relationship with God. I have great relationship with the evangelicals. And I go to church a lot. Always on Christmas, always on Easter.
And showing their religious sides in public political events for the sake of getting the people to rally behind them for their political ambitions. However, Melania's devotion to her religion did not begin with her political career, as she detailed how she grew up in a devout Catholic home where religion was instilled into her and her siblings in her 2016 semi-autobiography titled The Inside Story. The book also detailed how the government of Slovenia, then part of Yugoslavia, was heavily against the practice of Christianity, but her family still practiced their faith, even when they had to do so secretly. The book also stated that although Melania's father, Viktor Kanavs, was a member of Yugoslavia's Communist Party, which practiced a policy of state atheism, he still had his daughters secretly baptized as Catholics in the St. Lawrence Catholic Church in Raka, Slovenia, on June 14, 1970. Despite moving to the West and getting into the modeling world, Melania never lost her faith, and even shocked the world when she opted for a rosary in her hand in place of a flower bouquet during her wedding in an Episcopal church in 2005. Even during her modeling days, Melania still went to Mass and openly practiced her Catholic faith, a quality that endeared her husband to her when the two first met. Trump criticism. Donald Trump's political career has not been without its fair share of criticism from the public and the media. In fact, Trump's tenure as president was one of the most criticized and controversial in recent U.S. history, so Melania is no stranger to having her actions scrutinized, no matter how pure her intentions are, and neither is her husband. Trump's administration was criticized from all sides, from the media to the opposing party, to even members of his Republican Party, when he was accused of passing the limits of presidential power abuse, unlike any of his recent predecessors, leaving behind a legacy of so many abuses of power that new cases are still being found till today, that range from violations of long-standing norms to potential criminal behavior and outright corruption. Trump's rash and uncouth speeches and tweets made him public enemy number one to the left-wing liberals, especially for his views and policies on certain subjects like advocating for a wall to be built around the Mexico-America border to keep illegal immigrants from crossing the border into the United States without due process.
Tonight, among the unprecedented number of migrants illegally crossing into the U.S. from Mexico, a dramatic surge in people from China.
While this was not such a bad idea, the manner of presentation of the case got him into trouble, as he referred to Mexican immigrants as leeches and threatened to forcefully send them all back to their home country across the border. While we don't know if the Trumps belong to a church, Melania's spokesperson Stephanie Grisham had revealed that Melania indeed still practices the Roman Catholic faith. And while the latter felt her visit to the Pope was for a good cause and felt honored to have made it, many American citizens criticized the meeting as means of involving the Catholic Church in the affairs of the United States. This wasn't the first time this sentiment has been made in U.S. politics. Melania Trump's unique wardrobe choices, which are now a far cry from her wardrobe during her modeling days on the runways of Milan, draw a comparison between herself and former First Lady Jacqueline Kennedy, who was also Roman Catholic. Just like the Trumps, the Kennedys were also heavily criticized for their friendship with the Vatican and accused of giving the Pope too much influence in United States politics. Donald Trump's Christianity. In his time as president, Donald Trump often talked about his faith in God in his speeches, even going on to cite religion as one of the main pillars of his Make America Great Again campaign.
We will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America strong again.
And that returning to God was the best way to safeguard America's future, even citing that America needs a savior, and he knows he is not the one. This message endeared many people from the older generation of Republican and conservative Americans to him. Donald Trump was raised as a Presbyterian.
I'm a Protestant. I'm very proud of it. Presbyterian, to be exact.
I'm Presbyterian.
And has praised both Christianity and the primacy of the Bible for his success in life. During his stint in the Oval Office, Trump made sure he surrounded himself with close advisors who shared his deep Christian faith. But the story of Trump's faith is not so black and white. Although he speaks about being a devout Christian, he often fails to go too deep into the details of his faith, and nobody really knows if he does belong to a church. There have been certain incidents in the past that have brought Trump's relationship with God into question, including the time immediately after announcing his presidential bid. Trump described the experience of taking communion as, "When I drink my little wine, which is about the only wine I drink, and has my little cracker."
And when I drink my little wine, which is about the only wine I drink, and have my little cracker, I guess that's a form of asking for forgiveness. And I do that as often as possible because I feel cleansed.
In that same interview, Trump remarked that he wasn't sure he had ever asked God for forgiveness. The then president also raised eyebrows again in January 2016 when he referred to the 2 Corinthians Bible verse as 2 Corinthians, a stumble that he later blamed on a religious leader who had advised him. Even Florida pastor Paula White, who is considered to be Trump's closest spiritual confidant, has said it would simply be futile and staged for Trump to try to publicly discuss his faith as much as his wife does. Trump's version of Christianity has also been questioned several other times in the past when he championed the use of the death penalty on a group of teenage boys of African American descent who were wrongfully jailed for a crime they didn't commit in the 1980s. The case known as the Case of the Central Park Five was one of the most infamous trials in modern American judiciary history. The case was viewed by the African American community as a sort of modern-day lynching, and Donald Trump ran ads in newspapers calling for the boys aged 13 to 17 to be given the death penalty. "Bring back the death penalty. Bring back our police," the ads read. The convictions of the suspects were later overturned after they spent 7 to 13 years in prison, and the city of New York paid $41 million in a settlement to the teens. But the twist was that Donald Trump in October 2016 declared that he still believes they are guilty, despite the DNA evidence exonerating them. Donald Trump also was accused of being a proud homophobe after making several speeches against the rainbow community, referring to them as heathens who will burn in hell, and then promising a reversal of their rights as part of the tenets in his Make America Great Again agenda. Despite the bigotry informing the campaign, Trump found many supporters from the right wing echoing his sentiment. He then went on to submit appeals to the United States Supreme Court in support of employment discrimination against people from the rainbow community. Despite the bill getting support from almost every segment of the United States population and Congress, including a majority of Republican Party members, then President Trump opposed the Equality Act for the rainbow community. But in May 2020, the House passed the Equality Act, voting to guarantee critical non-discrimination protections for members of the rainbow community, among other crucial rights much to Trump's displeasure. Furthermore, in 2017, Trump joked about Vice President Pence's anti-gay agenda to hang people from the rainbow community, saying, "Don't ask that guy, he wants to hang them all." Albeit Trump was joking, not everybody saw it that way, and many people saw it as a manifestation of a deep-seated hatred towards a section of American society. Melania's liberal Christianity. Unlike her husband, Melania Trump has a more liberal outlook on her religiosity. She understands that being famous will always bring criticism of her choices, and she can't force anybody to support her, but she keeps on manifesting her faith regardless. Also, unlike the people who claim the Trumps tried the Catholic Church, and the Pope too involved in the US government during their time in the White House, the reason the Trump family pray together is to protect churches from too much government involvement in their affairs, and Melania believes that no one should be forced to practice any religion that they didn't want to. Regardless of the criticisms faced by the Trumps, some Christians see them as positive role models who use their platform to talk about their faith and wish more public office holders would emulate their example and talk about their faith with their platforms more often. She even said during the 2020 George Floyd protests that it's not right to judge people by the color of their skin or to fight with them just because they have different political beliefs. She also stated that she wanted to help people of all races and backgrounds, from African Americans to Asians and Hispanics, and both people from poor and rich backgrounds, and also people from other religions. Melania Trump has sworn during the rallies for the 2024 elections that if she becomes the First Lady again, she will be committed to working with children and also dedicate several projects for poverty alleviation, as she did during her first tenure as First Lady, when she tackled children's issues by launching the Be Best campaign to promote children's welfare and making many visits to children's hospitals. She also opposed her husband's family separation policy and convinced him to end the practice. Trump's re-election efforts. After the controversy of Melania's reciting the Lord's Prayer at the rally in Melbourne, Florida caused an uproar in the media. The public began to fix their gaze on Donald Trump's re-election campaign efforts, and many believed that the fact that the 2017 video resurfaced and went viral in the lead-up to the 2024 election shows the increasing attention paid to the religious themes featured in recent Trump rallies. "We will pray to God for our strength and our liberty," Trump said in a speech, according to an April 2024 New York Times article. "We will pray for God, and we will pray with God. We are one movement, one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God." The timing of the 2017 clip's resurgence on social media in 2024 also appeared to be connected to the spread of posts targeted at condemning incumbent President Joe Biden for issuing a proclamation recognizing the Transgender Day of Visibility on March 31st, which, coincidentally, happened to be Easter Sunday. When asked what his second term in the White House would be like if he eventually got re-elected, people would be relieved to hear the impeached president say that he has learned from the mistakes he made in his first term and would not be repeating them. But the caveat is that the mistake he is talking about is that he was too nice. "I let them quit because I have a heart. I don't want to embarrass anybody. I don't think I'll do that again. From now on, I'll fire," Trump doubled down. Donald and Melania Trump are now 6 months away from the 2024 presidential election. Surprisingly, Trump is better positioned to win the White House than at any point in either of his previous campaigns. The ex-president leads current President Joe Biden by slim margins in most polls, including in several of the 7 swing states, likely to determine the outcome of the elections. This forecast aside, Trump's re-election quest will still be an uphill battle for him and Melania, as the stain of his first tenure still threatens to ruin his campaign. Trump is still in court appealing against dozens of felony charges, including for election interference, conspiracy to defraud the United States, willful retention of national security secrets, and falsifying business records to conceal hush money payments. And in Trump fashion, he has tried to turn his legal perils into a badge of honor. Given this array of blotches on his resume, one would think that we've seen it all, but by far the biggest incident that stains Trump's legacy is the January 6, 2021 riot that saw his supporters storm the Capitol building in a bid to obstruct a smooth handover of power when Trump was impeached and replaced by Joe Biden. Trump decided to recast an insurrectionist riot as an act of patriotism. "I call them the J6 Patriots," he says. When asked whether he would consider pardoning every one of them, he says, "Yes, absolutely." For a while, the case, however, threatened to ruin his chances of running for the 2024 elections, but a court in Colorado judged that he was clear to run for office, while the court decided if he had been charged with federal crimes or not. History may just be about to repeat itself, as in true Trump fashion. He has been making violent and authoritarian speeches throughout his campaign, alongside using increasingly dehumanizing and violent language against his political enemies. Trump's 2024 campaign has been noted for leaning into anti-LGBT rhetoric, just like the last time. Though the Capitol attack of 2020 won't stop him from running for office, it is still widely considered an obstruction of justice and an attempted coup d'etat. But Trump thought his 2024 campaign had continued to promote false claims that the 2020 election was stolen from him. Melania's message for the future. Melania has weathered the storm of criticisms before as the First Lady, and as she seeks a second stint in the position, is ready to withstand it again, as she has displayed in the way she has handled the Melbourne rally controversy with poise and grace. "It is a great honor and great pleasure to stand here before you as the First Lady of the United States," the former model said as the crowd greeted her with a loud ovation at the Orlando-Melbourne airport on the day of the rally. Before introducing her husband, the First Lady described the country she and the President envision as one that works for all Americans and where all Americans can work and succeed, a nation committed to a great civility and unity between people from all sides of the political divide. The former First Lady then made a passing reference to the recent attacks aimed at her, saying she will always be truthful with the American people no matter what the opposition is saying. Melania kept her head up and focused on the coming campaign, even as she was abused last week by a New York Times reporter who called her a hooker, and later apologized for his rude comments when model Emily Ratajkowski tweeted about the incident. "I am committed to creating and supporting initiatives near and dear to my heart that will have an impact on women and children all around the world," the former First Lady said when asked about the issue, potentially hinting at her future plans as she focuses on the coming elections. Melania has maintained that it is important for Americans to get into practicing their faith, even if they are being criticized for it like she and her husband are, stating that doing right by one another according to Christian doctrines is the best way to ensure a brighter future for the United States, as she urged Americans to be kind to one another. Given how she has been attacked for displaying her faith in God in public, Melania is terrified that the country is continuously losing its belief in God, and people's faiths have grown weaker than ever, and America desperately needs a revival. She thinks that religious values and principles are growing less popular by the day, as she urges the citizen of the United States to strive to bring their faith back to life to build a better America. What do you think of Melania Trump's message to Christians? Do you think Melania Trump's Christianity is genuine or just a facade to enhance her political career? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. That's all for this video. Till next time.